Greetings, YouTube. Got an interesting article right here from the UK Daily Mail. Police officer shot dead after pointing stun gun at man's dogs as he attended domestic call. Ladies and gentlemen, this officer had received, well, not this officer, but the police force had received a call about some sort of a domestic dispute, domestic disturbance, and he decided that he needed to show up at this guy's place. Well, as he was showing up, the guy didn't have anything to say to him other than, "Do you have a warrant for my arrest?" The officer said no. He says, "Well, then get off my property." There was a little bit of back and forth, more verbal bantering, the story goes. The guy's dogs started approaching the officer. The officer called in to the captain. The captain said, "Shoot the dogs." So the guy pulled the taser, or the officer here pulled the taser. The guy pulled a shotgun and shot the officer dead. Now, this is probably going to offend a lot of people, but I'm going to say that this gentleman was 100% justified in blowing the head off of this officer. Why? One, it is inconsequential that this man was wearing a state-issued costume, carrying a peace officer license, and had a metal badge upon his chest. Inconsequential. Why do I say that? Because no one with a straight face that is not lying can say that this man was doing his duty. No, he was not. He was told to leave, to get off the property, that he was trespassing. He was asked for a warrant. He admitted that he did not have one. The guy was done talking to him pursuant to the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment. You do not have to say a word to the government, period. As they say, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Why would you want to say anything at that point? Clearly, the officer was not going to leave. And clearly the officer meant to inflict harm upon this gentleman's dogs. Clearly, the deployment of a taser running some 50,000 or so volts through a small dog would virtually and certainly kill it. So this man was protecting his property from a trespasser who had no legal right to be on his property. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a line to be drawn. And as far as I am concerned, the line is the threshold into your house. Pursuant to the doctrine of necessity and the Castle Doctrine, which is the same thing, it states unequivocally and unrevocably, regardless of what words appear on a piece of paper, that is called the law of the city, the state, the county, the country, whatever. It does not matter. These doctrines are eternal. It says a man has a right to defend his person and his property, period. Clearly, this officer had no legal or lawful justification, at which point the officer became a trespasser and was creating a domestic disturbance. A peace officer who was violating the public peace. Outrageous, ladies and gentlemen. And then he meant to do harm to this gentleman's dogs. In no way, in no shape, in no form, in no capacity can it be argued that this peace officer was acting in his official capacity as a peace officer, trespassing on this gentleman's property. Continuing to try to pursue this gentleman, despite him saying, "Do you have a warrant for my arrest? Leave," and meant to inflict damage on this man's property, his dogs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a justified shooting, and I am ashamed to admit in this country that the gentleman who shot this errant peace officer has been arrested, and they're looking at charging him with murder. This is absolutely outrageous. This gentleman was protecting himself and his property against unlawful and illegal intrusion on behalf of the government. Ladies and gentlemen, those charges are not warranted, and I can only hope that at least one member of as many trial juries that are seated, at least one says, no, what this man did, it's not good, but he has a right to protect himself and his own, period. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just a fact. That's a fact. The line must be drawn, and clearly, this is a justifiable line. I don't want to see bloodshed. I don't want to see violence. But when the state gives you no quarter, they make this sort of conduct unavoidable. Unavoidable, ladies and gentlemen. They brought this upon themselves, and now they're going to try to make this man pay a penalty for protecting himself and his property. This is absolutely fucking outrageous.